Good morning. It's your boy Sean Thomas Ronan O'Brien, aka Sean O'Boogie, aka Shawnage, aka the White Animal, the Yonkers Banimal, aka SOB and the Magnanimous Motherfuckers, aka the Roman Candelabra, aka on and on, right? Woo! Anyway, I am here to give you a publishing update, and I can make this short. I can express, describe, relate the recent experience, not even in words, in one sound. Let's see if I can get you a better one. Oh, what a disaster, what a nightmare, man. So just to catch you up or catch you in, right, my memoir Irish Goodbyes, which is slated to come out in March of 2026, right, 3 months from now. I have a publisher. I got everything sorted out, like got my marketing team, got my promotion team, like I got a lot of cool shit going on, right? However, I don't really have a memoir. So before I had, last year I ran into some issues. I got out of a relationship. Things were terrible for me. Anyway, I lost access to 2 of my old Gmail accounts, my SeanO'Boogie at gmail.com and my SOBC4R at gmail.com. Both were personal emails. One was kind of linked to my old work, but in a personal way. Like, I'm not going to go into that, right? All legit, all signed off by my supervisor and executive director at the time. I have in those emails, like in drafts, and I sent some emails from those email accounts to my ex-partner, maybe a couple other people, with the full memoir and different versions, all that good stuff, right? And there's also one version, probably 3 or 4 versions of the memoir in my old Grammarly account, which is tied to my old SeanO'Boogie at gmail.com account, which I can't get into, right? So although I have the username and the password for both Gmail accounts, I have the username and password for the Grammarly account. Every time I try to sign in, they say, hey, we need more verification, right? And I'm like, well, then what the fuck is there a username and a password for, right? That is my verification. So they want to send a code either to my recovery email, which is each other, which I don't have access to, or to a couple of old phone numbers on file, right, that I also don't have access to. So I've tried everything, right? So Grammarly's telling me, the only way we can give you access to the account is if you provide the credit card information. I don't have that information, right? I've left no stone unturned, right? I've gotten my credit report from 2024 when the original charge from some credit card, I can't find it, was made, right? I've gotten my credit report, can't find it on there. I've gone to my bank. As far as that goes, I've left no stone unturned. I've left no stone unturned anywhere, right? I can't find it, and I'm expressing this to them, and they're being really obstinate and just being like, well, without that stuff, we don't have proof. And I'm like, I am offering you every other thing under the sun. I'm offering you, birth certificate, driver's license, marriage certificate, even though I'm divorced, social security card, passport. What else do you want? This is me. Not to mention, go into the account, look at the stories that are in there, and go look at my Medium, my SeanO'Boogie.medium.com account. You'll see the identical stories. This is me, that is mine. I need my fucking memoir. I'm trying to get it published. I'm publishing it. And they're just they won't budge, man. And I'm using all my pathos and ethos and logos that again to just appeal to their human side. Golly, I'm offering you every and anything else under the sun. Not to mention, like, my first email to them, to Grammarly, about getting me into this old account was from April of 2025. That's like 9 months ago. Like, I've been trying to get at this for like that long. Like, do you think if it wasn't mine, like, and it's just some writing, like, they'd give up? Like, it's not making sense to me, man. And I think, human nature is when things don't make sense to people, like, they struggle with it, mentally. And I definitely have struggled with it. Frustration, anger, just like sheer, like, So I've tried the other, I have a couple other tricks in the old sleeve. And again, I know I sent out those memoirs or have them in drafts in like those old two email accounts I can't get into, right? Those emails also have recovery numbers to 2 old phone numbers, which I don't have. And man, I've done this recently, probably the past 2 weeks. And this has worked in the past one time before, right? The only other time I've had to try it, where I had an account I was trying to get into and it was linked to an old number and I didn't have access to the old number, and that was the only way I could get it. So I reached out to the old number, sent them a text. Hey, this is so-and-so, explaining the situation. Trying to get into this account, blah, blah, blah. The only way they'll let me in is if I use a code sent to this phone, which I no longer have. Like, could you find it in your heart, be a human being, be kind, and send me the code? And like 15 seconds later, the code, and he's like, here you go. I was like, man, thank you so much, right? So my hopes are that this will happen with either one of the 2 numbers, right? And I've been trying this for at least 2, maybe 3 weeks now. 0 response from both numbers, like radio silence, man. I've said, man, I can prove my identity. Like, man, I'll send you fucking money. Like, just send me the code. Like, you can, like, please. These are both 512 numbers as well, right? So they're in Austin. Like, we can meet up. We can do this in person. Like, I'm not, I get it. People being apprehensive and, like, being mindful of scams. Like, but please, be a human being, too, man. Like, golly. Use your head, use your logic. Like, somebody needs help, man. Wouldn't that, like, do something for you if, like, you helped somebody out? Like, man, my faith in humanity is, like, fucking low, bro. Man, it's not because it's about me. It's just what I see on the streets, too, man. Like, people are just so caught up in themselves, and, man, fuck. So, I've made 0 progress, and, I've been saying this whole time, like, I have a deadline, right? The last thing I have, thank God I have this, right? Again, I have the first 6 chapters that were uploaded to my Medium account, right? And those are posted as, like, an anticipation, like, for the memoir, like a bit of a teaser, like, hey, here are the first 6 chapters. It's about 30 chapters long. This is what you can expect, right? So I have those. And then in that Medium account, I also have some version. I'm not really sure which version it is, right? Because, again, there are a few different versions, some rewrites, some edits, like, of the next 2 or 3 chapters, right? So I have 7, 8, and I think 9. Thank God I have those, right? But furthermore, or moreover, I also have a paper version of, like, most of the memoir. At some point, I had the prescience, the circumspection, when my life was going to hell, to print it out and, like, hold on to it dear. I remember, like, some real shit nights, some real shit situations I was in, and, like, just losing things and, material things left and right, and just, like, going the extra mile to, like, hold on to this fucking memoir. Like, my life depended on it, and apparently it does, because here we are. Problem with that, there's a couple of problems with, like, the paper memoir. Like, I'm not really sure which version it is. Like, I think it's, if I were to have written 6 rewrites, which I've done at least, probably close to 10, if not 12, this is probably, like, in the latter thirds of those rewrites, right? So it's not like my first version, which I'm grateful for, but it's not the last version either, right? The almost perfected version, where I could take and just, like, type in and upload, right? Also, over the time of, me not being in the best situation in life, like somehow the memoir's gotten a bit scrambled, right? So like I decided the other day to sit down and look for chapter 9 or 10, I forget which one it was, and just like start typing it in, right? And I can't find chapter 9 or 10, and I find like half of 11, and then like it starts at 12. So I'm like, you know what? Let me sit down and start typing in like at least one chapter. So I get like a page and a half into chapter 12, and I flip the page, and onto like the new page, and like it's at chapter 15. I'm like, oh my God, where is like this missing chapter and a half? Like, so I go through the rest of it. Like stuff is out of order. It's just like, now I have to put this like jigsaw puzzle together first before I can like start copying it in, right? And it's frustrating because again, it already exists, like almost in its polished version, which would just put me in such a better position. Upload it, start working with the developmental editor and then the line editor, but like I can't even do that because like I only have the first 6 chapters to offer them, right? So after I get real frustrated over like where's this at, like I sort a few things out, and I sit back down and I start typing it in again, right? Awesome. And again, the whole time, like, anytime that things are bothering me internally, especially this past year, right? I take it seriously and I take a look at it. Why is it bothering me internally? Like, what's going on there, right? Because I have to do, like, I've been really working towards becoming unshakable when it comes to, like, emotions, and whether that's, with somebody else, with myself, with a situation. Like, I've been working hard, right? So when I come across something that kind of takes me out of alignment, like, I make it my mission to like figure out like, why is this like so difficult? Why is this bothering me so much? What's taking me out of alignment? What's going on here, right? So the obvious is there, right? The frustration with Grammarly, the frustration not being able to get into my old email accounts, the frustration with reaching out to these phone numbers that are just not responding to me, and sure, maybe it's karma, like I don't know, but I've never, I haven't done that shitty of things to anybody like to deserve that type of karma, right? At least not on that like writer level or like doing things for other level, right? I'm like really generous when it comes to that shit. So I'm like, looking at it inside, like what's going on, right? Because I can't sit in that stuff for too long, and I need to like figure it out, embrace it, address it, and like move forward, right, and grow from it. So it becomes apparent to me that like, okay, another big part of it is like if I do just sit down and retype it in, like the time, because number one, I'm not that great of a typist, I'm not that fast. Number 2 is like it is out of order. Number 3, I'm not sure what version it is, right? And all this already exists in it almost perfection, right? So that's frustrating. And then I come across like one of the bigger things, if not the biggest thing, that's really obviously it's hiding. It's doing itself, it's doing its job. It's hiding inside me really well with these different, walls up, so I can't access it, right? But I finally get to it by doing some like internal work. So my memoir, like, it's about growing up with my father and growing up in New York. Again, I'm not going to talk too much about it because I want you to read it. But there's a lot of trauma in it, dude. And what I realize is like, I now, after like working so hard this past year, especially this past 6, 7, 8 months, to get into like this unshakable place, like I'm now in a position that I have to re-traumatize myself by retyping all this fucking shit in. And I'm like, motherfucker, like that's totally it, man. With those like little added pieces, but like if I were making a meal, like the trauma would be the plate, right? And those other things, like it already being finished, being grateful to have a physical copy, but it being out of order. Like, those are all the spices that are added to like the trauma plate. Like, I have to sit and like go through this like again and re-traumatize myself. Like, so of course, I'm careful of that, and I'm like, making sure I'm in really like unshakable, solid state before I start doing it. But regardless, like, it brings back these. I mean, this is what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to evoke emotion in people, right? It does its job, man. The good thing is, like, and this is not patting me on the back, right, by any stretch. Like, as I'm typing it in and rewriting it, and like I'm doing my best to like not edit and not be like, oh, I should take that out. Like, I've already done all that, like, time and time again. Like, so I'm just doing my best to copy it. And as I'm doing it, I'm like, obviously reading it, which is awesome, but I've done 100 times before. And I'm like, wow, this is good shit, man. Like, it's good, it's great content. It's fucking more than well written, man. Like, at times it is beautifully written. Like, I definitely have my own voice. Like, I definitely have my own writing style. Certainly influenced by some of my favorites. When I decided to like move it, not out of the music, because I'll always be a musician, right? And hopefully in 2026 I have some music opportunities coming up, right? One is actually just kind of started budding, which is awesome. Hopefully that works out, but if it doesn't, it doesn't, right? And we'll talk about that at a later point, right? When I find out more. But making that move from like musician to like author, right? Anyway, lost my train of thought. It's early. I've been up since 5. Did not have to work last night, which was awesome. But it's really difficult, like, because again, I work at nights, often I work 12-hour shifts, right? So 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., right? Usually 3 nights in a row, sometimes 4, sometimes 5, and then like, at least 2, if not 3 days off, right? But when I have my time off, like, I like to reverse it and like get on a normal schedule, man. So like, my body's a bit fucked up, and my hopes are that resolves itself in early 2026. I have speaking with a couple of organizations, possibly going back into some of the older stuff that I did, which I would love to do, some justice involved, some harm reduction stuff, on the life-saving side of things. So, hopefully some things change, because I really want to get back to like this normal schedule where I go to bed at 10 p.m. and get up at 5, weekends maybe I stay up a little later to 11 and go out on a date, up until 2, having a sex bout or something. Oh, Lord help me. Anyway, so that's the publishing update, right? I am actively, what I'm trying to do is type in at least a chapter a day, right? And I just finished 12. I'm doing 13 today, and I'll just keep banging them out, hopefully with not too many days in between. I am working tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday, 3 12s in a row, so that may be a little difficult getting it in there, because I also, especially, I work at a hospital, and like I definitely have enjoyed the work and spending I've always wanted to work in a hospital environment, so like I'm digging it. It's cool, but like it's run its course also, right? Another negative thing about it is like I'm inside all for 12 hours straight, man, and that like there's 2 hallways where people are in there for psychiatric issues, and it can be tough, man. So I like to, especially on my work days, right, 3 12s in a row, like I make sure I get my ass up at some point, even if I gotta cheat on some sleep and get out and get to the park, like, and spend some time in nature, because that's a huge part of me remaining unshakable, recovery, all that stuff, just engaging with nature and all that beautiful stuff, so switching jobs, will also avail me of spending more time outside on a normal schedule. And, once this memoir hits, I have some other things getting ready to publish after that. Hopefully I can move into some like full-time writing gigs, and just really kind of create this life of my dreams, right? I do believe, I'm of the mindset these days that I am the creator of my own reality. That's for another video. So it's about 20 minutes in. That's my publishing update. I'll keep you posted. All right, have a great day, y'all. Take it easy.